This is a radio story here on One Amount Podcasting. So if you're listening, this is one of those real industry type things. So it's not like one of those fun, lovey-dovey things, but I think it's very interesting content. Now, I know I get a lot of videos that might not get a lot of views at all, and that's okay. But these are stories I want to get out there that hopefully maybe somebody that's interested will want to go ahead and catch on to these. And I understand I'm not looking to make videos all the time that are just going to be like, let's just shock and awe people. Let's just get people to go and check on board. I know if I talk about anything with sex or adult work and things like that, absolutely. I know people are going to talk about that. And they're going to listen. They're going to watch it or listen to it. They're interested in it. But again, my forte is radio and podcasting. So radio is where I came from. I worked in terrestrial radio. And there was still a time where new music could be heard on the radio before streaming came into play, and it was still important. But now it's not anymore. And we see the studies keep coming and coming, and here's another one. Edison Research, they do their ongoing infinite dial survey. They now have a new survey about new music seekers. An interesting story. I want to go and talk about this here. So the study suggests that now the majority of listeners 12 years and older now discover new music from YouTube, followed by friends and family, and then FM radio. Those are the three main factors. The study states that 68% overall utilize YouTube for music discovery, 47% for family and friends, 46% AM and FM radio. So AM and FM and radio is now totally behind the eight ball when it comes to new music now. That's what's going on. Let me go ahead and pull what's going on in the story here, which I think is very important. So here's from this particular research. 24% of those age plus 12 say it's very important to learn about and stay up to date with music. 35% for 12 to 34, 25 for 35, 40, 54, and 55 plus 10%. Younger is always going to be more cognizant of what's going on with new music. They want to keep up with it. Now, next you have how are people listening in the car? So AM and FM radio, you have 12 to 34, 72% are listening constantly to the radio. This particular says, have you ridden in the car last month and say it's very important to stay up to date with music? So again, AM, FM radio, if you're in the car, yeah, you're still going to probably listen to it in the car, but you're not picking up, a radio to go listen to it or asking for, your Google Home or your Amazon Tap or anything like that to go ahead and ask for radio music. You'll probably ask for music from your playlist from either Spotify or Amazon or Apple or what have you, or Pandora. So owned digital music, well, that's like if you still had CDs or you had music you were playing off of your phone through Bluetooth, well, that's a next set. Then there's podcasts, which see how big a deal it is right now. 59% for 12 to 34. The pink lines are 12 to 34. Green is 35, 54, 55 plus, yellow for those that are listening in, or excuse me, that are watching on the video. CD players, I didn't know those things were still usable, but I got it in the car, I don't use it. Online radio is next, which podcast and online radio, I think, goes in the same vein. On Sirius XM, 35%. But remember, look at how much you have right now that is based off of Bluetooth. So in some cases, 70 or 59% or 51% or 35% are using their Bluetooth device. They're not even using the knobs. The radio device, which is easy to go ahead and access, to tune in and to turn it up, they're not using. People that are getting in the car, they're much more inclined to go ahead and go the extra effort to go ahead and get the music they want. They're willing to take the extra 2 steps. Plug in your device to the Bluetooth, get it turned on, then you get your device turned on and set to where you want it to be. Isn't that amazing? But that's more common than ever. Next part of the survey, audio brands used most often. Here's what you got when it comes to new music. This is what the U.S. online population use audio brands. Say it's very important to stay up to date on new music. Spotify, number 1, 30%. And that's, again, we're looking at 12 plus. 12 to 34 is 36%. Now, when it comes to where people are listening to songs, it's interesting. Spotify is very good for new music. 18% for Pandora, 13% for Apple Music. iHeartRadio is 9%, which is really bad. Again, iHeart, one of the biggest radio companies in the world, and they are so lagging behind on new music. But this tells you everything when it comes to iHeartRadio. The iHeartRadio is in the red box. Look at this here. 1234, 4%. So the iHeartRadio is not even a blip on the radar for younger listeners. Ryan Seacrest, that's on you. 35-54, 9%. Look at that, 9%. Then you got 55 plus, older people, 38%. So radio is being heard by old people for the most part. That's bad. That's horrible. Tells you everything. You think that people are going to listen to the radio in the car and continue to listen to the same songs over and over of older music, whether it's classic rock, whether it's country, whether it's rock, whatever it is. But you're telling me that you're just going to play the same music over and over and just expect people to go and just continue to engage. And that's it. But again, you have an audience that's getting older and they're not going to be around, or they're not going to be as often on the road listening to music. They're going to be more at home. So they're going to be listening as much. Ask yourself the question. Spotify hasn't. Look at that. 30, 36, 26. They have it all the way from 55 and younger. Spotify has it. And Pandora is consistent, 18, 19, 17. Apple Music is more important for young, most of the iPhone holders, and then it drops. So Apple's more important to the youngest audience, but Spotify is much more of a more well-rounded audience when you look at that. Final slide here is audio brand awareness. Again, what's the most important platform to get new music? This is 12 plus. Spotify, number one at 82%. Pandora, 81%. And iHeartRadio is third. And Apple Music is behind that. Isn't it amazing? But I think Apple Music is much more about trying to go ahead and create diverse music. Not new music that becomes very popular, that's very, you want to listen to it over and over and over again. I think it's what they come down to. But there you go. That's bad. That's pretty bad. So you see all that right there, and it's an interesting story. Radio has truly lost itself. They're so behind now. Why don't they get it? Why is it they don't get the fact that they have such a disconnect with younger listeners? How the hell do you keep an audience? Radio needs to understand, more than important than anything else, I said this on previous episodes, you can't keep playing all the ads. The ads are impossible. I tried to listen the other day in the car. Man, there's a new station that's playing 90s music. And that's a new thing they're going to be doing. They're going to play much more 90s music on stations around the country. iHeartRadio is going to do that. The first one they put up in Miami. And you know what? The music's not that bad. I'd listen to it. At least right now at the beginning, well, the playlist is pretty wide open and broad until they start shortening it because they think there's only 250 songs that anybody wants to hear from the 90s, and that's it. Well, we don't want that. But the idea is, I still had to listen through to 2 commercial breaks. They were 7 minutes long. And this was first I listened to it during the weekday on a Friday. And this was at 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I listened again on a Saturday. And again, 6 minutes worth of commercials on the weekend, twice an hour. Who's going to listen to all that? And those commercials are long. Some minute-long commercials. Some of them are promos because they can't fill the spots. They can't sell the spots. And they have all these make-good spots they have to sell because they have to go and put up because they're part of deals that they have with shows that they're syndicating or other programming. They have to make good on it. It's horrible. They should not be doing anything like that. You should never have to hear a break that's more than a minute long. I've learned that now. And it wasn't something I had to learn doing podcasting. Because I remember I used to put about 3-4 minutes of commercials every stop set. I stopped doing that. Now on all of our programming, 1 minute. Maybe 2. But honestly, 1 minute at the most. Because nobody's going to listen around for it. And you got to make your content longer. Like, you're going to have content. These ads, you're going to have to find another way to do it. And honestly, I think you do billboards. I think you do hours sponsored by, and you put hours sponsored by across the board. And then what you do is you don't create these pre-done ads that are sounding the same. No, you change it to make it the DJs that are hosting the content. You do things where you're hosting content on the road, doing live events, whatever. You can still do that now, even during pandemic. But that's what you got to do. You got to change this up. This isn't working. And I hope radio would understand this. How many times do I have to say it? But there's a story that's going to be coming up I'll talk about very soon about how iHeartMedia now is about to get bought by Liberty Media, or at least the big stake of it. Liberty Media is looking to go ahead and take the whole station, the whole kit and caboodle over. What is that going to mean? They're the same people that own SiriusXM and Pandora. What does this do to change the whole radio landscape? We'll talk about that on a future episode very soon. So stay right here to When I'm Not Podcasting. Remember, subscribe to the channel because I have more radio stories coming up very soon down the line. I'll talk to you next time.